Okay then, our next lesson is going to be what do we do with our image once we've got it fairly cleaned. We have to really get inside here and take a look at the image up close and really make sure that we have cleaned it. Whoops, we're on the wrong layer here. Undo. Make sure we're on our layer mask, and we need to make sure everything is clean. One thing you can do where there's a crispy edge, you could come in and take the opacity down to about 32%, and what this gives you is like a feathering type mask. So it's just smoothing off that little bit of green without really erasing much of the puppy's fur. And you can go around and do all that. Just cleaning, 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 and cleaning. Okay? So I'm going to go to another image now after that's been cleaned and smoothed. Now, we have some really nice color going on here, so I wanted to show you how I've altered some of that color. In image, when you go adjust, we've got to make sure we're on our puppy as well, not on the layer mask. When we go image adjust, we go to levels, and we always do an auto level to see what it looks like. And that was already done, and it kind of helped out a little bit. You can adjust your levels, your mid-tones, your shadows, and your highlights. And when you have that where you want it, you say OK. Then I go up to image and I adjust and I look at my brightness and contrast and see if any of that would maybe help make my dog look more like it belongs on the beach. Sometimes taking the contrast down helps out a little bit. Okay. And then the last thing that I get into is adjust hue saturation. This one is really, really good. If you have too much green or too much purple or red, you can play with this and bring different colors out. Okay? This is the one, hue saturation, the saturation part where I really find a lot of reward in getting my images to look more like they belong when I take saturation either out or bring it up. And then once I have that done, I say OK. And now my image, if it was all done and cleaned, I could maybe possibly flatten it and make it into one image where I take these two layers, put them together. But before I do that, I want to show you one more little trick that you can get into that's really beneficial. If you want to make your dog look like it's coming out of the water or it's in the water, you can use a tool. Well, first thing we're going to do is we're going to find this tool called Clone Stamp. And we're going to make sure that we're on all layers. And we'll leave our opacity at 100%. And what you do is you hit Alt and you click a spot that you want to clone, and you can bring that up onto your dog. Just bringing it up. And what that does is it infuses the background with the animal. So for example, I want this tail to look like maybe it's in the water. I'll go Alt and I'll bring some water up on his tail. So now the tail looks like it's kind of in the water versus just kind of laying on top of it. And you can go all around. There's some green still needs to be removed there. Picture's not fully clean, but just for display information, it shows you what you need to do. But this picture could definitely use a lot more work. And then once it's all cleaned up and you did some clone stamping and you're happy with the color, then the next thing I would do when it's all finished, I would do a file save as, update the version that you like. Maybe we would call this Captivia 2. One might have been the first picture we started with. As I've made improvements, I can add a number to it, like version 2, version 3. And then when I'm finished with the picture, I should probably go to layers and go all the way down to the bottom and flatten the image so that the layers turn into one picture. And then I would also save that. And this has everything to do with printing. It makes printing much easier when it doesn't have all those layers to contend with the printer. Just one layer. And over here I have one that's called flattened, and I would flatten that image. And that is it. Now you need to write your story for your picture and turn everything in, which will be the next lesson.